Hello, everyone. My name is Oshan William, Public Relations Manager, host, and curator of today's webinar. Thank you guys so much for joining. It is a very special day for the Sweet Delights Bakery, who is the sponsor of today's webinar. Today's discussion is all about understanding how food has become much more than something we eat. It has become part of our identities, our communities, and even our online conversations. And for today's guest, it is a different spin on very much public speaking and how we're shifting into new age views of communications around every which way we are informed, which is why my guest today is, as you can see, a very robotic persona to the assistance of my information today, Digital Dietary AI Assistant, sponsored by Chat GPT today. Uh, every which way, this webinar is very much important for education. Throughout today's presentation, ChatGPT will help answer some of the most common questions surrounding gluten-free lifestyles, allergy-safe foods, and how consumers can navigate the overwhelming amount of nutrition information found online. Every which way I am assisted with this has always been by the growth and the understanding of online information that can very much help uh, very much spread all the information necessary to keep us all healthy. So this is a very fun webinar session I have curated today. So yeah, let's get started. So to better understand
So going into the first
why
session, we're going to
this
understand very much
conversation
how
today is
food
very
adapts to moving within our
important
bodies.
is
We're coming
very
into
much
understanding AI very much
understanding
creates
how
memories.
food has
It builds
always
traditions and it's very much creating
brought people
belonging
together
that
in
a lot
a
of
good
communities are
sense.
needing, especially
Whether
in
we're
how to become
celebrating
aware of a lot of the
birthdays,
needs,
holidays, school
many
events,
important things in our
or
community to really
neighborhood
how they're serving
gatherings,
people. So we're
food
very much
often
becoming a
becomes
lot
the
more
center
considerate with how we
of those
provide a lot of information and
experiences.
how we do
Today,
give
however,
to
many
the people,
families
especially when it
have
comes
had to
to
think about
to make sure they are
food
conscious about their health.
allergies,
Even
gluten
schools today are
sensitivities,
becoming a lot more health
ingredient
conscious in their menus
transparencies,
towards
and
snacks.
a lot
And a
of
lot of
nutritional
restaurants are
wellness
as well
that goes
identifying a lot of
into
allergens that
make sure the
could be very
body
much
is
detrimental to their
being
consumers.
fed
So
very
we are very
much
much coming
healthy
into
and very much
this
health
space to
positive
where we're offering a
meals
lot of
and
options that are relatively
products.
safe, especially around
At the
gluten-free
same time,
needs.
younger
So
generations
just
are
to
now
make sure it's
becoming
very
more
clear, we're not
increasingly
shifting out of a lot of
tuned
traditional foods. We're
in
not
to
shifting out of that.
how
Like myself, I'm very much
food
still someone that
and
enjoys our
product
traditional
transparency
meals.
goes
However, I
into
am
the world
introducing a lot
of
of
very
health
much
conscious
dietary
ideas and a lot more health
wellness.
conscious foods
They're
to
taking to
the
very
mix.
much
So
social media
this is still something you can very
platforms
much
like TikTok,
enjoy and as well
Instagram,
be able to
Reddit,
keep keep in a good sense
YouTube,
of order,
and
good health.
so many
And
other
gaming
online
every which way,
communities to learn
how it shows is
about
about
what
making
it
sure that everyone has an
means
opportunity to
to
participate safely
bring health
and inclusive
and wellness into
spaces
their
that give
lives.
everyone the opportunity to feel safe
Every
and
much
and enjoy
which way
the
this
system as well as well.
webinar
Here
is
you
meant to
get a very
explore
good
how these
sense
digital communities are
of every
influencing
which
consumer
way
choices
the
and
conversation
how
is spoken
businesses can
around
create
traditional
safer and more
and
health
inclusive
conscious
food
meals, as you can
experiences.
see in this chart.
So
Today,
here,
it very much
my
gives
favorite
you
model,
different reasons
as you can
as
see, is
to
informed choices
what is
today
different
influences a healthy
between
community tomorrow.
each
So
of
let's
the
first look at
categories
how
of
food
traditional
creates
and what health
belonging
consciousness.
before we
Every
examine
which
the role
way, it
social
is
media
very much
plays.
telling you about limited ingredient labeling within traditionals that is very much different than what is clear ingredient transparency and allergen labeling that is crucial to foods and in every which way it is labeled into products. All it is giving us is an opportunity to really see how consumers are very much basing taste and familiarity compared to traditional meals, going into health conscious foods that are centered around wellness, inclusion, and lifestyle. This gives us more opportunities to very much see how we are shaping our culture, which is why you can see next here. This is where we're going to ask also ChatGPT every which way the digital dietary assistance is going to go. Is very much starting with the question: how can communities make foods events more inclusive for people with allergies? And let's go into the next screen very much to get that answer from ChatGPT. And here we have it. Chat's response to the question asked within the previous slide is very much letting you know simple. Creating an inclusive food event begins with thoughtful planning and clear communication. Event organizers can offer a variety of gluten free and allergy safe options, clearly label ingredients and common allergens, and use separate serving utensils in preparation areas to reduce the risk of cross contact. Providing ingredients lists, training staff to answer basic food safety questions, and inviting vendors who can specialize in allergy conscious products can help attendees feel safe and welcome. So I think everyone can very much agree to how Chat GPT is also very much beneficial to teaching you how, when it comes to planning these events, and every much inviting people in to taste different cultures of foods, there's a thoughtful process to every which way that works. And there's very much extensive research and a lot of practice and training necessary to make sure it all goes smoothly without harming anyone. And also, as you can see, we also tallied in the audience interaction polling to that question to what food traditions very much are bringing you together. People at a 46% are say holiday meals are very much where there is a very huge interaction with family and dinners and how it is very inclusive to us. So, yes, going into our next session, it is all about every which way this is going into letting you know how families are very much choosing transparency. So,
So
going
let's go.
into this session is very much all about every which way we realize how parents have become some of today's most informed consumers into these new generations of parenting. Rather simply purchasing products based on appearance, many now spend time reading ingredients, labels, and researching brands before making product purchase decisions. Every which way purchase decisions go when it comes to health today, very much is very much now careful. They're a lot careful in making sure that transparency is giving them the confidence. They very much need every which way businesses and industries to, hey, listen here. I need my products that I'm purchasing from you guys to always be very honest to how it is going to affect the health of myself and my family. So for bakeries, for example, it is always going to be a great business move, a required business move, really, to clearly communicate ingredients within their preparation methods. Every which way it goes for allergen information, it is meant for brand trust to be built with their customers. So it is a good understanding that now for many families, the transparency isn't simply a preference. It's an important part of protecting their health. So with that being said, a lot of that goes into why we get a very good sense of how food transparency works for us in today's age. A lot of us really do not go into a lot of these stores anymore. There's a lot of new stores even being built today, like for example, Whole Foods and things like that, that are always going to assure you a great product labeling and give you great options. And also even taking it to, again, social media, again, which we'll be speaking at the very end of this webinar, towards the very end of the webinar, how social media is utilizing content to inform people before purchasing. So yeah, here we have a very serious health label transparency chart here that is very much giving you a very great look at the options people choose in order to make the decisions necessary to purchase their foods. A lot of these foods that feature very much good, safe labeling is around the whole grains and the gluten-free breads, the baked goods that are allergy safe, the oats, and every which way. A lot of dietary alternatives are always going to provide you with clear labeling. Every which way, it all matters. It very much for the dietary needs. Every which way, it is cautious to healthcare, and very much gives people the most honest relationship with their consumership with brands versus themselves. So this is a very good look at how we're going into very much families choosing how transparency works in every which way labels are going. And also now we have our chat question, every which way it is going to respond to how, what are three ways consumers can verify whether nutrition information shared online is trustworthy. Let's go into
So
the
our
next
response
slide
from
in order
chat
to get
is
that
very
answer.
much straightforward in giving you a very clear answer to the question and simple. There are three simple ways to evaluate nutrition information. First, check the source. Information from registered dietitians, licensed healthcare professionals, universities, government health agencies, and reputable medical organizations is generally more reliable than unverified social media posts. Second, compare information across multiple credible sources. If several trusted organizations provide similar guidance, the information is more likely to be accurate. And third, be cautious of extraordinary claims. Statements such as miracle cures, detox, or guaranteed results should be viewed critically, meaning that you should very much go into second, third, or fourth options of opinions before settling with the first one when it comes to these miracle cures, detox, or guaranteed results. Nutrition science is complex, and trustworthy advice is usually balanced, evidence based, and transparent about its limitations. Nice job, chat. So now heading into our last session here is every which way we are talking about how millennials and Gen Z are changing food culture. This one happens to be my favorite slide because, again, this is pertaining to my generation as a millennial here. It is very much getting real for us to how we are redefining how food brands are communicating here, every which way we are eating. We value deeply authenticity. And of course, we understand Gen Z is doing the same because we are the ones birthing Gen Z here. So, every which way we provide a lot of information from our generation is to very much for Gen Z to do the groundwork of what we blueprinted. We are the blueprint. Gen Z is very much creating the groundwork to what we build here. So every which way we are very much dominating the understanding from millennials and Gen Z is always how much we appreciate transparency here. Every which way both these generations reward businesses that openly discuss ingredients, sourcing, and sustainability around their wellness. So instead of relying solely on advertisements, many consumers now learn through creators, online reviews, and community conversations. Platforms like TikTok, Reddit have been places where people exchange recipes, discuss food allergies, and review products and recommend a lot of restaurants to every which way they are using these platforms to speak to both businesses and their peers. So a lot of these conversations influence purchase decisions every single day. That is letting us know that in these upcoming generations, in the next phases of generations, we are very much becoming a lot more health hazardous. We are becoming a lot more conscious to what we're putting into our system that is giving us a good sense that we have a very real bodily system here that we're listening to. Our bodies are very much talking and we are listening to them now. So every which way we're putting in the efforts to both be inclusive to what other people are eating, whatever other people are saying about what foods we eat. We're becoming needed to no longer fight in the debate or give too many ugly language around what foods are. We are just very much becoming a lot more considerate to what foods are in today's culture. Millennials and Gen Z have become more conscious of the foods they eat through a sense of needing more authentic and transparent wellness around the choices they are making. So this whole entire next phase of generations is very much literally saying, hey, we're going to get very real about the foods we eat. And yeah, there is no ifs, ands, about it, about which way we are going to make sure it is transparent before we buy. So again, through these creators, through online reviews and community conversations, you are going to be getting a lot more information, become a lot more educated, and see how much it is going to result in a better everyday life of your healthy lifestyle when it comes to what you eat. My favorite part about how today's information is being shared on social media is with the assistance of AI. As you can see, there are very much tools like Meta AI that is very much integrated into Instagram, for example, as you can see on the dark screen on the right here, it is literally letting you know every which way how the search itself can very much outline you, every which way it counts, every which way discoverability is going around, uh, teaching others how to very much utilize the apps, utilize the platforms for a lot of things necessary for their educational benefits, especially around their health. These apps are very much becoming very much efficient for a lot of people to, I won't say not need their doctors, because again, you can very much find doctors even on TikTok and also on Instagram that are becoming very much licensed dietitians, very much people who are very much fit to let you know what it is they are uh, enlightening you with about the health and what are you putting in your body. So a lot of the hashtags, like for example, gut health TikTok is a hashtag that if you go through the search, you'll see how much people are gathering the information necessary to teach others around the healthy items, the healthy foods, what to eat, what not to eat, and again, what is very much healing to the body as well. And this again is very much crucial to product purchasing. That when they find these types of social media hashtags, social engagements, it translates into how they walk out in today's world and go and make decisions around purchasing and also educating others who may need this, who may not know anything about social media. Because again, you still do have people who do not use the platforms, who don't know social media. And you may be someone that is very much helpful in this direction to teach others what they don't know and what they will know thanks to you. So, yes. And every which way another polling comes at you is very much to give a good sense of what to ask ChatGPT. Again, would you use an AI tool such as ChatGPT to learn more about nutrition or food ingredients? This question is really for you to take with you as you go along. You very much enter them, your answers and responses into the chat. And so you can let each other know which way you all are very much influenced by how ChatGPT is helpful to you on nutrition and food ingredients. Now it is time to very much wrap up our webinar section. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for the session. It is a beautiful experience to always be someone that is very much aiding in education, especially around the health towards people and how to be mindful about where they are finding all the information necessary for their health in today's world. Leaving you with the final thought: healthy communities begin with informed communities. Whether you are a parent, student, educator, entrepreneur, or community leader, every conversation about food has the opportunity to create a safer, more welcoming experience for everyone. So hopefully this webinar very much helps you all build your community in a more mindful way and provide more transparency in order to gain a lot more trust, just to make sure you are not influencing any negative habits, any negative things that could be hindrance to someone else's health, and making sure that if you're going to be influencers, if you want to be people that are very much into the world of social media, please continue to be credible. Please continue to provide a behavior that is, again, trustworthy to consumers as they listen to you in every which way. And in this conversation, today's world about how AI can support nutrition education, yeah, it is your responsibility to make sure you use all of this information in the best way possible. And yeah, thank you guys so much for today's session. Thank you guys so much for attending it. Please follow the QR code. Please scan the QR code here just to make sure you guys are always informed with Sweet Delights Bakery. Please thank them. And remember, every which way we are moving towards a new week, you're going to be finding new updates around Sweet Delights Bakery and their upcoming events, every which way they're going to pop up in your areas just to provide you with the most delightful what's new to their business. So thank you again and have a good one.